Director of After Sales and Services, Jimmy Nye.
Hi, Addie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Well, Jimmy, hey, we got some questions for you. The first one, we want to know what's like the typical process of a restoration project?
Yeah, so typically we'll start with an inspection, a slide tower inspection or play unit inspection, do a drywalk inspection, identify any areas of concern. Oftentimes we'll find calcium buildup, rust bleeding, and then on the slide interiors, we're checking for imperfections, chips, gouges, scratches, anything of that nature that could be harmful to a rider or a patron. Ultimately, we'll look for caulking in the seams is a frequent maintenance item that needs addressed. We're also checking for snug tight connections on our flanges and our steel connections on the structure itself.
Is the restoration process similar for aquatic play units?
They're similar, yes. However, our play units have fiberglass decking, so we will inspect the fiberglass decking, interactive features, and then of course the slides. But yeah, the play units do have some different features. Like I said, the interactive features. So there's plumbing involved, a plumbing manifold, flex hose that feeds each interactive feature, or an iconic dump bucket. So yes, there's a little bit of difference between the two, but overall we're still checking for snug tight connections, chips, gouges, scratches, anything of that nature that we need to repair before we allow the rider on the slide or the play unit itself.
So Jimmy, how long does this whole process seem to take?
So the inspection itself is actually a rather quick process. So depending on how many features are on site, I would say roughly a couple hours per feature. But once our crew gets on site and mobilizes, it really depends on the scope of work. The great thing about our crews is they mobilize and they work start to finish 7 days a week, consecutive days. We want to keep the downtime of our client to a minimum and help them get back up and operational as soon as possible.
So if someone were to contact you about a restoration project, how far in advance should they contact you?
Yeah, so this is the million-dollar question. Everybody's scrambling pre-season to get open, right? And so oftentimes we have people reach out last minute. When I say last minute, that's typically like anytime March 1st or after, with most locations looking to open on Memorial Day. They may think they're reaching out early, but in the grand scheme of things, that's the final hour, let's just say that. So I do strongly encourage you to reach out post-season or as in advance as possible. The fall, the winter would be great for outdoor locations. If you're an indoor location like we're standing in here today, where you operate 24/7 year-round, then it's really just a matter of your maintenance window. Oftentimes there will be scheduled maintenance windows for facilities like this. And in that case, if we can communicate months in advance and gear towards that scheduled maintenance window, then it just allows us to fit in more cohesively with the work that is to be done during that time frame and eliminates additional downtime for the facility itself.
Okay, so Jimmy, I've got one last question for you.
Fire away.
What do you think is the best process to like extend the lifespan of water slides or APUs or features?
So that's a great question. So one thing that we teach in our certification and training is to do a daily rinse, garden hose, fresh water, just rinse the structure down. That greatly reduces the buildup of calcium and rust that is inevitable, but it will slow that down. In addition to your drywalk inspection where you're checking for the chips, gouges, scratches, things of that nature, snug tight connections on all the steel to steel and fiberglass to fiberglass connections. Outside of that, just the visual check to see where things may need attention. Caulking, again, I've mentioned it before, is probably the most routine maintenance item that you're going to have to do, whether it be a play unit or a slide tower itself. The caulking tends to dry out, crack, and weather, and so that is one thing that you can do to definitely keep up on your rider experience. And anything out of your comfort level as far as the local staff crew is concerned, please reach out to us here at Splashtacular and we're happy to help.
Wow, Tren, I feel like I learned a lot today.
Me too. Thanks so much for being here, Jimmy.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Again, I'm Addie.
And I'm Trinity.
And I'm Jimmy.
Yeah, and this was Splash School.